I'm Devon Saunders.
I'm Jay Saunders. You're watching the QC.
For the best in entertainment, reviews, and more.
This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.
Hey friends, make sure you stick around after the interview for the full first episode of award-winning horror adventure miniseries, Ithaca.
One of the things that I think you may have seen in our videos was that Devon and I are originally actors. But when it comes to acting, you can't expect people to just give you the roles that you want. So it became...
You wanted to create them.
Yeah, so
that's why we started Ithaca.
Welcome back to the QC. I'm your host, Swanka Burnett, and it's a pleasure and an honor to welcome Devon and Jay Saunders to the channel, the award-winning filmmaking duo and founders of Man in the Arena Film Studio, and we're going to be discussing Ithaca, the miniseries. So welcome, Jay and Devon.
Yay! Thank you for having us.
Thank you for coming on. It's really a pleasure to have you on, like I said. How are the both of you doing today?
Hey, we're walking and talking, you know.
It's Friday. I think we're glad it's Friday.
Yeah. Good stuff. So I recently watched Ithaca, the miniseries, in preparation for our conversation. And as I was watching, I was really struck by the quickly established sense of pace and the foreboding tone, as well as like the laser focus on the terrifying experience of this one man played by you, Jay. So can you talk a little bit about your experience filming Ithaca?
I'm not, where would you like me to start? Because it's, with Ithaca, for those who don't know, it's something that, it was a zero budget piece that we created over 7 years, and with a skeleton crew. The first episode that we filmed was, I think, about 7 minutes long, and we had it was just me, Devon, and our two camera guys. And then from there, each episode started growing more and more and more. And with this project, I wrote it, directed, edited, and composed the music. And over the last few years, as we've been doing this, Devon has been by my side, kind of supervising and consulting as well. And our team at Man in the Arena Films has slowly been growing. We were able to work with Everything's Fire. They're a production company over in York, Pennsylvania, headed by Doug Henderson and Matt Neese, who are a very, very talented team over there. And once we released Ithaca online, we actually finished it during towards the end of COVID.
Yeah.
Towards the beginning of COVID, because, studios were, theaters were shut down. So we figured, all right, well, we want as many people to see this as possible. So we just put it out online, and it caught the eye of Eduardo Sanchez, who's the director of the Blair Witch Project. And he was very, very supportive and excited about just kind of the guerrilla filmmaking style that we did. And he immediately jumped on.
The godfather of guerrilla filmmaking, really.
Right. I'll be honest, I didn't know that he was the director of Blair Witch. That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
So, and he's been doing a lot of fun things since then. He just wrapped up several of the final episodes of Supernatural, Queen of the South. He's just been a very, very busy guy, and he's transitioning into television more and more. He became a very big supporter of our series and has become our executive producer.
Beautiful. So can you tell us a little bit about what was the genesis of the idea for Ithaca, and just what the thought process was, and how you landed on a horror adventure kind of?
Yeah, well, this one was fun. So it was just kind of an idea like that we had one night. I think wasn't it like the first night in our apartment, and we didn't have any furniture, and we're sitting there having takeout dinner like on the floor in our living room in our apartment, and just had this idea, like, what if, that's an intriguing idea. And then it just kind of built from there.
Yeah. It's adventure horror, and, spoiler alert. Yeah, there's some zombies in there. But the thing about, back when we first started creating it, Walking Dead was getting really huge. And, everyone who watches a zombie movie immediately jumps into that mode of, okay, what am I going to do for the zombie apocalypse? What am I going to do with my loved ones? And if my loved one gets bitten, what's going to happen? And we've all done it with a loved one, where we say, all right, if I get bitten, what are you going to do? And when I asked Devon that question, I said, she said, well, what are you going to do if I get bitten and turned? And I said, well, I'm doing the logical thing. I'm aiming for your head, baby. I love you, but you know, I'm taking your head clean off. And then I've got my whole strategy of where I'm going to go next, how I'm going to forage for food and everything. And then I asked Devon that question, what would you do if I was bitten? And Devon, just being this very gentle, graceful spirit, said, I would let you bite me because I can't go through this world. I wouldn't want to go through this world without you. So I said, well, that is a dumb answer. But I said, all right, well, let me take a step back and look at her response and say, okay, well, we all know what the logical things are to do in a survival setting, but what if we start really breaking down the moment to moment beats of making that decision? You know, what are the emotional things that are coming up, the sensorial things that happen in your body as you're trying to make that decision? We all want to go for that logical thing. Every time we're watching that movie, you just keep saying, oh, just aim for the head, aim for the head. But as we were maturing as a married couple, as a husband and wife, and then as parents, the things in your life have a different weight to them.
Your perspective is just constantly changing. And then as our family continued to grow and our perspective continued to grow along with that, this story just kept evolving. It's not just that it's been a 7-year process in the making because it's just taken that long. It had to do a lot of the fact that it really rolled with the growing of our lives. The story grew and it kept getting deeper as our perspectives kept changing and seasoned, you know, the
Right.
furthering of the story.
Are the themes in the piece really took on a different sort of weight as our values in life changed, as we got new perspective as to what it's like to protect your loved one, what it's like to have resentment towards a loved one, what's it like to be able to forgive each other and go through that process. And now what happens when we throw all that into this survival setting? And we also decided, okay, well, why don't we try to do this whole piece without any dialogue? Let's try to create a piece that you just feel it in your senses. You know, in a apocalyptic setting, let's see what happens when you have nothing but time to sift through all those demons inside your head, all your regrets, and having the real enemy be what's going on inside your head. So it was a different approach that we wanted to take for this, you know, the whole zombie apocalypse thing. And it's even difficult for it to say that it's a zombie piece because there's so much psychological horror that's going on in there, so much time that you want to take a step back and just reminisce or to just let it sit in your head.
And not to mention then the supernatural elements that I'm sure you noticed that came into play as well, which that's exciting because that is really a driving force in the furthering of this story, that we're excited to be taking it into a much larger venue and looking to make this a much bigger piece moving forward.
So that's a perfect segue. So, you know, Ithaca, the miniseries, is available now on YouTube. Of course, everybody go make sure you check it out and watch it. But moving forward, what's next for the Ithaca universe? Can you talk a little bit about what you guys would be working on?
Yeah, so I think we released it just about this time last year during COVID, during the pandemic. And it started picking up steam around this area and around, you know, the different people that we know. And people started immediately asking questions and coming up with theories about, hey, well, we think this is what happened with that creepy creature with the long fingernails, or we want to know what happened to the baby. We want to know what happened to Devon's character. How did this all happen? So we immediately jumped on being able to write write a pilot for the second season, but we really wanted to gear it towards a streaming service, something like a Netflix, something like an Amazon, but we really wanted to create 60-minute long episodes with a bigger budget, with access to more resources.
Yeah.
See, the thing with the first season is, like I said, we did it without a budget. We taught ourselves how to do everything for it, how to create the special effects, how to how to compose, how to edit. And we did it because we love film. We wanted to learn every single aspect of putting a film together. We've pushed all of our resources to as far as we can take them, without spending a buck on them. And now we really want to get to a different kind of storytelling with this new season of Ithaca, which is much larger, much grander, serves as a somewhat of a prequel, but also introduces this whole new, well, I'll be a little bit, I'll spoil it here. I'll spoil it here.
Not too much, baby.
It's, we dive deeper into Balinese folklore. I grew up in Indonesia, in Jakarta, Indonesia, as an expat, lived there for 15 years before coming to the States. And the island of Bali is so rich with such a complex culture and perspective on tragedy and balance in your life that really affected me while I was growing up and intrigued me while I was growing up, and really wanted to dive deeper into that with this new season of Ithaca, and really expose the audience to this new perspective on life, going through this tragedy that we see in season 1. And
really kind of, I think, fuse like our two most absolute favorite genres to have adventure. We kind of talk about how we want to, it's like adventure, like Indiana Jones meets True Detective, in just kind of a really fun way. And the living culture within Bali, it's almost like you in many parts walking through sets that are the most elaborate Indiana Jones type sets you could ever hope to imagine. There, like already, like just incredible, such an incredible environment for us to use, and to use that adventure that we love so much. And then horror is like, we're horror fanatics. We absolutely love horror.
Well.
Yes. So, oh man, we should have a whole nother conversation about that at some point, all our favorite horrors. But
and then once again, with the first season, it was an exploration in terms of what we were able to do with every single department. So with this new season, it's the same. It's this exploration of this incredible culture and these beautiful people and their perspective on this, on balance between these positive and negative forces, this eternal battle between good and evil that comes to this, man being right at the center and finding balance within the literal edge of a knife at times. So we can't give away too much, but it's a very, very exciting endeavor where we are right now.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, it sounds like you guys have some grand ideas moving forward for Ithaca. I think that the idea of doing some on-location filming in Indonesia sounds very exciting as well. Can you tell us, how can fans of Ithaca support what you guys are doing moving forward?
Well, the best way that you can help is being able to view Ithaca itself. If you go to our YouTube channel, if you search for Man in the Arena Films or Ithaca the miniseries, you're going to find our channel. In the playlist section, you're going to see season 1 right there. It's four episodes. They're all about 5 to 7 minutes long. They're very, very short episodes, but they pack quite a punch in there. Yeah, and that was the whole goal, to see like how tight of a story we could tell in such a short amount of time, without any sort of dialogue. How do we take the audience through this emotional, visceral experience? So season 1 is in the playlist section. You can also check out our Patreon page. There's information on that on our YouTube channel. And that's the best way that you can help. Subscribe to our channel, like the videos, and please,
Patreon. if you would like
become a
to.
patron and please share the videos. That helps us out tremendously as we are moving, pushing the ball for the second
Spread the word.
for the second season.
Spread the word.
Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, no, I think it all sounds great. Make sure, for people watching this video, make sure you subscribe on YouTube and also support them on Patreon, as well as getting involved with what they're doing on Instagram. And yeah, thank you both so much for coming on. Really appreciate it, and look forward to your continued success with Ithaca.
Hey, thank
you
you
so much, Micah. Thank you.
You're welcome.